Oh, Robert Brown.
Hi, Cody Decker.
Let's start the show.
What?
I understand what you're saying.
No. There it is.
Let's hear it.
Well, let's hear it.
Talk to us.
Beadle and Decker, taking on sports talk like no one else. Michelle Beadle,
I'm just helping. I'm helping America one by one.
Cody Decker,
I 100% believe in revenge. Revenge is a great thing.
Back to the sports.
back and ready for more.
Every time I tune them out, they pull me back in.
It's Beadle and Decker. Here's Michelle and Cody.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. It is a Friday, a fantastic Friday, a beautiful Friday here in Southern California. And so many great things are happening here in Southern California. And by the way, so many things are great happening in sports, and so many great things happened last night. I can't wait to talk about that. And of course, it's a Friday, so no Michelle Beadle, only me, your boy, Cody Decker. What's up, chat? I see you guys in there all ready to go. And yes, we are going to talk about plenty of what you already have going on. But I want to make it abundantly clear, sometimes you just got to go to one of your very best friends. You got to go tap into your blood, to your guys, to your very, 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 very special broadcasters out there. And what do I mean by that? Well, I mean this.
Friend, he's my pal. He's my home boy, my rotten soldier. He's my sweet cheese, my good time boy. He's my best friend. He's my pal.
The one and only Robert Brown. How you doing, Rob Brown? God, how many times were you broadcaster of the year there in South Carolina? Was it 3 times?
That'd be 3 times, all 3 crystal trophies hanging on the wall right here above me and to my left, Cody Decker, and yet currently unemployed at radio, so it's just cannons fully loaded when I come hang out on a Friday afternoon, brother. Thank you for having me, as always.
Always. And that is true, radio people. He is unemployed, and he is ready to go. I can't stress this enough. Robert Brown, one of the very best broadcasters in the entire industry. I'm not even kidding. Also one of the best gambling broadcasters, if you're into that sort of thing. Robert Brown, dude, just how's your week been? How's life? What's been new with you?
It's a weird spot I'm in, Dak, because, and you and I have spent the last, coming up on actually over 5 years broadcasting together.
Yeah.
And with the exception of a spectacular run back in 2021, in which I can neither confirm nor deny that I may or may not have broadcasted at least one Saturday afternoon drunk after the Atlanta Braves won the World Series. Mm-hmm. Every season since then has just been sadness and depression and anger about my favorite baseball team. Mm-hmm. So it's put me in this weird spot, because the Atlanta Braves were the first team to reach 20 wins. Mm-hmm. They were the last team to reach 10 losses. Mm-hmm. They currently have the best record in baseball.
They do.
Their lead from first to second in the NL East is a wider gap than first to last in every other division in baseball right now. And I will not allow myself to feel positivity, happiness, and joy right now. Like, I'm struggling with it. Granted, a large part of it because it is May 1st. It is May 1st. There is a hell of a lot of days between here and there. But on the other hand, Spencer Strider comes back and makes his first start on Sunday. Mm-hmm. Sean Murphy is back this weekend. Not that we need him right now, because we got a plethora of catching ability, including a young man I told you to take a bet on preseason for NL MVP and Drake Baldwin. You're welcome, because my man's in the mix right now. It's this weird spot, because if anybody else's team was doing what my team is doing, I'd be like, brother, shut up, pop a cork, and enjoy some baseball. But because the Braves have just done nothing but kick me in the testicular region for the past 4 years of my life, I'm refusing to allow myself to feel any sense of happiness or optimism.
I understand that feeling, because I too have been a pathetic sports fan myself. You know, I have lived and died with certain sports teams in my lifetime. And you know what it was? You know when I actually broke that curse for myself, and it actually probably made me a better even athlete, because, you know, I kind of got away from being a diehard fan of things. It was that Super Bowl of which John Gruden dog walked his former team of my team, the Raiders. That Super Bowl made me so angry that I actually hate watched week 1 of the XFL, which debuted the next week. Don't worry, that it got it out of my system real quick, and I found myself loving the Raiders again, because that's what the XFL was going to be. But I can't stress this enough, dude. It's just, it's a tough life when you're living that like die-hard fandom. Like I went down to O'Brien's Pub yesterday, right? O'Brien's Pub is my favorite spot in Los Angeles. Everybody knows that. It's a New York bar, though. And, being in New York City for these last couple of years, being around New York fans, especially Knicks fans, who I honest to God have certain questions like, where do you guys get off having this type of ego and this type of reaction when your team doesn't go to the finals, considering the fact you haven't won since 1973, since Star Wars was but a glimmer in the mind of George Lucas, not even a cinematic adventure yet? I don't know what to say other than it's a tough life, and I'm sorry that you have ingrained this into your subconscious, but that's just what it is, man. We're sports fans. We're sick, pathetic creatures.
Yeah. It's fun. I was having this conversation with a friend the other day. I am about 2 hours and 3 minutes from here to the parking lot at Truist Park at the Battery in downtown Atlanta. I went to, if I recall correctly, I went to 8 Braves games last year. I went 0 for 8 when I was there. There was one night that I enjoyed the Battery, and you'll remember it, Deck. The All-Star game was in Atlanta last year, and we had Bob Nightingale on our show, to which I asked Bob Nightingale, as a Braves fan, and I think we had one All-Star on the team last year, and he was a reservist, so like it wasn't good.
Yeah.
And I said to Bob Nightingale, how is a Braves fan? Like I want to be up. I was in Atlanta for SEC Media Days. It was the exact same weekend. And I said, I want to go to the Battery. I'm not going to the All-Star game, right? Like tickets were outlandish, like ridiculous amounts of money for tickets. I said, I'm not going to go to the game. But if you've ever been to the Battery, it's great. It's just a huge entertainment district with the baseball field in the middle. And Bob Nightingale said, here's how you do it, Rob Brown. You go there, and there's a daiquiri shop about 200 yards away from the stadium. You just go get absolutely blasted on daiquiris all night, on hurricanes all night. So that's exactly what I did. I took an Uber from my hotel. It was like $40 there and back. Had a shitload of daiquiris knocked down and enjoyed the crap out of it. And it was the only baseball game that I enjoyed in Atlanta last year as a Braves fan. So it's this spot because the pitching is so much better than we have any right for it to be right now, with like one exception. And to kind of make it an actual baseball conversation, and just to get your thoughts, because I did think about you when I read this morning.
Bring it.
Yesterday, the Braves sent Payamps and Robert Suarez, to the bump against the Tigers. You'd won the first 2, including taking down both Mize and Skubal in back-to-back games. Like, I'm not saying you feel like you're going into this thing getting the sweep, but if I took out Mize and Skubal with our 4 and 5 guys, we got a pretty good shot.
Yeah.
Payamps goes in, he gives up a bunch. Suarez comes in, he gives a couple more. The Braves don't get the sweep. I wake up this morning. I'm getting ready to go do some work before I sit down to do the show. And what do I see but that those 2 guys got DFA'd less than 12 hours after giving up the lead and the sweep in that game. In years gone by under Brian Snicker, and granted, I know it's Alex Anthopoulos, the GM. I know it's his decision. He's the guy ultimately that signs the paperwork. But in years gone by, it always felt like Snit would argue like, oh, one game, like one guy, we're not going to let these things get out of control. We let guys go through 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 month slumps. These guys had a bad outing that cost them a game, and they went, hey, you're not good. You're not Chris Sale. You're not good enough to give up that moment, that spot against that team when the sweep is on the line and still be here. And they just pulled the trigger on the DFA and started bringing up the next round of guys like they did with J.R. Ritchie, who's been really, really good since he showed up. In fact, he outdueled Skubal in game 2. There's some optimism there that this is the first time since the World Series that instead of the Braves just going, yeah, everything sucks and we're getting our nuts kicked in, but we're just going to let it ride because we really believe in the boys. This is the first time in a number of years that it felt like Atlanta's actually making moves to get better now instead of hoping to pay off 3 months we're in the whole 7 games in the division. And the prize for that is now a 7-game lead in the division this early in the year.
No, it's pretty badass what your team is doing right now. And yeah, Walt Weiss has got these guys running all cylinders. Hell, Walt Weiss got involved with your guys' first team brawl this year. It might be a different team there in Atlanta this year. And I know everybody's, and by the way, we're going to talk about baseball later in the show. hell with it. We're flip flop. Let's just talk baseball right now before we get to more quick hitters and all that. Like, the thing is, like, I'm really excited about certain things. There's certain teams right now in Major League Baseball that I'm very excited about. Braves are being one of them. Another team, believe it or not, even though they're one game under 500, I actually am kind of digging what the Marlins are doing. I think they fight every single team hard, and their losses are not like blowout losses. They're just getting kind of outlasted, like by the Dodgers. Every one of those games was pretty tight. I'm really excited about the Reds, man. They're 20-11. I'm not expecting them to maintain this all season long, but this is not bad. And hell, I'm actually really excited about the NL Central, which has always been the worst league in Major League Baseball. That and the AL Central. This entire division is 500 or better. You can't say that about every division. You can't say that about the East, your East especially, because your team's the only team above 500. You can only say that in the West about 3 of the teams. And by the way, I do think these 3 teams are going to end up being playoff teams. But the Rockies, who I do think are getting a lot better, and I do think the Rockies are a really interesting team. New front office, new kind of direction they're going. All of a sudden, the Rockies are playing, 14 wins. Bro, I don't expect the Rockies to have 14 wins in the first 3 months of the season.
I think it took them until like September last year.
Yeah, like this is phenomenal stuff. The amount of growth the Colorado Rockies had in this amount of time is staggering. And I'm kind of interested to see what they can build there. It just might suck forever that they're in the NL West. That's the thing that's going to be the thing that maybe hurts them in the long term. The Giants are not a surprise to me. This team is spending money. I still think they haven't gone out and gotten their superstar. I think they thought they were getting it with Devers. We haven't quite seen that yet. But I have to say, man, this Tony Vitello situation is going to be interesting throughout the season. So far, rocky start. It's about where I expected it, but this roster should be 500. And granted, again, May 1st, lots of baseball to play. Maybe Tony Vitello will really kind of hit his stride. But I'm still looking at this going, I really still to this point don't understand this decision.
So Vitello's an interesting conversation piece for 2 reasons. Number one, playing in a division that has the Dodgers in it, has the Padres in it, has the Diamondbacks. I'm watching D-backs Cubs right now with Zach Gallen of the bump. They are behind the Cubs 3-1. In that division, the Giants are 13-18.
Yes.
Those 13 wins are more than both the Phillies and the Mets have. Now, we know the Phillies made their move already. The Mets said earlier today, we're not making a manager move right now. And I get it, because I don't think you want to do it so close to the move that Philadelphia made and feel like it's a knee jerk. In fact, I went in and saying, I think that the Mets need to go win 2 out of the 3 against the Giants in order to not have to make the changes. So I'm going to say through the weekend, like they're not making it now. That makes sense to me. Get through the weekend. Let's see if you go out to the West Coast and you get swept by the Giants, and yeah, we're talking about a different conversation. But the thing about Vitello, and this is what really makes it interesting, is 13-18, 7 games back, not the worst thing in the world. All right.
No, it's not.
It's not the worst thing in the world. They could be where the Rockies were last year. They could be where the Mets are at 10-21 on the same date, and they're not. So that leads me to the second conversation, and this is one that you're more suited to answer. I have my speculation, but I want to take a back seat on this one. In football, I have said for many, 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 many years, obviously the story about Vitello, if you don't know it, was the head coach of the Tennessee Volunteers.
Yes.
Took that team to Omaha, was an absolute juggernaut in Tennessee. In football, we have seen countless examples of guys who reach the mountaintop in college football who just absolutely do not translate to the NFL. Nick Saban couldn't get it done. Granted, the Culpepper Breeze thing maybe impacted that, but still couldn't get it done. Steve Spurrier couldn't get it done in the NFL. In fact, it's easier to name the coaches who did get it done, which is what, like Pete Carroll. Like that's the list, right? Of guys who translated and could do it at both years. Is it the same in baseball? Is the gap in not talent, because I don't think it's about talent. I really think it's about coaching style, leadership style, communication, because there's a big difference. And even though we are in the NIL era, there's a big difference between talking to your 2- and 3-star left tackle in football versus your left tackle in the NFL, who on a vet minimum is making, $1 million a year and has been doing it for years. Is there a difference in communication between college baseball players and pro baseball players that makes cresting that mountain as difficult in baseball as it is in football. And the reason this conversation is interesting to me, Deck, is Vitello is the first guy off the top of my brain in Major League Baseball that we've ever had to have that conversation about. Nobody has tried a move like this before, and that's why the Giants are so interesting to me.
So here's the thing. It's not like there haven't been managers in the past that haven't had major league experience that got their first major league experience as managers. So I'll give you some examples. Jim Leyland never played a day in Major League Baseball. Joe McCarthy never played a day in Major League Baseball. Buck Showalter never played a day in Earl Weaver never played a day in Major League Baseball. So like there has been a precedent of success when it comes to certain managers in this situation. The difference is all those names I mentioned were in professional baseball. They were not hired from a different skill set altogether. College baseball and college and pro baseball are very, very, very different. Very different. However, Major League Baseball has been going in a minor shift a little bit, getting younger and younger players, a lot more management, a lot more hands-on with the players, not unlike how college is. But there is a pay discrepancy here that we're talking about. You're talking about 18, 19, 20-year-old college kids who don't make a dime to multi-millionaires where Major League minimum right now, I think, is around $800,000 a season. And that's the lowest paid guys, for that season. It's interesting to me. The guy's never spent one day in professional baseball. And I know some people might make the argument going like, well, Pat Murphy was a college coach and now this. You are right. But also Pat Murphy coached in professional baseball before going to Notre Dame. He also coached in professional baseball and managed in professional baseball for about 4 years before getting up to the big leagues. For instance, he was my AAA manager for 2 full seasons. Before that, he was by the way, I'm sorry, 2.5 full seasons in AAA, and then in the big leagues, he was my manager. If you go back before that, he was the Eugene Emeralds manager right before that for 2 seasons, and before that, it was like 2 seasons as a front office guy for the San Diego Padres. So like Murph has been ingrained in pro baseball, even though he still sometimes gets looked at as the college guy. Tony Vitello is just simply that, the college guy right now. His first experience in pro baseball. I'm not even talking to the major league level. In pro baseball, that's as a player, as a coach, was the first game of this major league season. Like that was his first real experience in professional baseball. It's an experiment, and I am fascinated by it. Here's what I think is really good. The record that you just said. Like this team is spending money, and they are in the juggernaut West. Plain and simple. You got 3 really tough teams and a young up-and-coming team kind of coming your way. 13 wins could be worse considering where this could be. You could be the Mets right now. But then again, I would say you could be the Phillies who have 1 less win than you, but the Phillies did just take 2 out of 3 from the San Francisco Giants. So, dude, we'll see how this season goes. It is in the chat that I do think we should mention this because it's not getting enough mentions. Sacramento A's. Sacramento A's are in first place, bro. I don't see it lasting all season because I still think Seattle's going to go on their run, but they're in first place.
Yeah, that one is in. I watched a little bit of the A's earlier this week, and I'm in the same boat with you. I'm impressed. If there is a team that deserves to have a locker room full of guys that feel like they're just getting kicked around, it's the Athletics. I mean, everything that's happening that doesn't have to do with on-field play, just miserable right now. You and I have spent years ripping Fisher and that organization, and every word of it absolutely deserved. But I also know the Seattle Mariners are a team that does this every year. Julio is a dude that takes until later in the year to get going. We haven't really seen Cal Raleigh start to get to anywhere close to where we know. Cal Raleigh's not like, was last year a flash in the pan? No, he's that good, and he's going to get it going. And I think once those two, specifically those 2 all-stars, get it going, I think this division gets flipped on its head. But I kind of feel about the Athletics the same way I feel about the Braves right now, which is, on one hand, man, it's May 1st. We're a hell of a long way from late September, for sure. On the flip side, you should still absolutely be throwing confetti in the air about what is on paper as accomplished so far, because I'm gonna throw it out, Deck. I think if you'd have asked you or me or any baseball analyst around who we thought would be in control of the AL West by the end of the month of April, ain't a damn one of us would have said the Athletics. Not one of us would have said they would have been anywhere near even in the hunt for the division lead, and yet here we are on May 1st.
Okay, Jeets, I see what you just wrote in the chat. I'm going to wait to put it up in the actual show chat real quick. One sec, because Jeets, I know you don't like Cal Raleigh, but you got to understand, calling Cal not that good, the man hit 62 home runs last season. I don't know what to say. Listen, you could say whatever you want about him. Last season, he hit 62 home runs. That's pretty good.
Yeah, look, he's batting 192 right now.
Awful start.
It's an awful start. He's batting 192. He's sitting on 7 home runs, tied for 23rd. He's 46th in the league with 18 RBIs.
Mm-hmm.
He's like 140th in the league in OPS. But he's also a dude that last year, and I Deck, you might remember the number. I don't remember what his WAR was at the end of last year, but it was stupid. It was astronomical. And I don't think, even if there is a fall off, if Cal Raleigh was half as good this year as he was last year, he's still one of the best 11, 12 catchers in Major League Baseball.
He's a catcher. That's the other thing. You're getting that type of production out of a catcher. He hit 230, yeah, but who cares? He hit 62 home runs. He had over 100 RBIs, dude. That's just damage. That's game-changing type of stuff. And not to mention, like, Major League Baseball batting average just isn't what it once was. But also, I don't think it's worth hitting the panic button on anybody's stats right now. And I'm including the teams right now. I look at the Red Sox. Yeah, they're a bit of a disaster, but that team might band together and start doing some shit after what they've just experienced. Like, you never know. It's early enough in the season. We'll see what Joey Gallo part 2. He's overrated. Joey Gallo part 2. I don't know how anyone could be overrated after hitting 62 home runs in one season. And Joey Gallo, I'm sorry, Joey Gallo struck out a lot, sure, but Joey was a pretty good ball player, dude. It's just different skill sets. Not everybody does everything. Joey Gallo had elite power. Cal Raleigh has elite power. That's things you can't teach. You just can't. So they're very valuable. I don't know what else to say other than they are extremely valuable. But let's go ahead and move on to some quick hitters, my guy, because I got a lot of stuff for you today, and I want to chat with you about it. There it is, quick hitters. Now, I'm not sure if you've heard about this, but there's a couple movies coming out, and I want to just get your opinion because I've been doing so much. I don't know why I'm getting so into this, and I think it's going to surprise you. But I'm going to form it in a question this way: Mortal Kombat 2 or Street Fighter?
All right. There's an argument for both.
Mm-hmm.
Street Fighter being that I don't know that we've ever gotten a truly good adaptation of Street Fighter.
We have not.
On the silver screen. Okay. And so I'm going into that one optimistic that they're going to get it right. Is Cody Rhodes the right guy? Who was it? Roman Reigns the right guy? I don't know.
No.
We'll find out. I don't know the answer to that. We'll find out. I'm optimistic.
Mm-hmm.
But the answer to me is Mortal Kombat, Deck, and it's for one reason and one reason alone. Despite the fact that we have had some fun adaptations of Mortal Kombat on the silver screen in years gone by. We've had some fun ones.
Yes, we have.
The reality is I was a Mortal Kombat kid because when I grew up, we had one arcade in town. It was like 25 minutes from the house. And so getting to go to the arcade was like once, maybe twice. There wasn't a lot of Street Fighter in my life. There was Mortal Kombat. And granted, a whole hell of a lot of Mortal Kombat was me and the little brother like buying the game without telling the folks and staying up late and playing it when the parents went to bed because there's no way in hell they would have let us play that game anymore after the first fatality. Like it just wouldn't have happened. But Mortal Kombat, when it comes to Rob Brown's video game experience growing up, and as you can tell, I'm still a fucking nerd. Mortal Kombat was everything, dude. Like it was the first game that I played where it was genuinely, I'm going to kick your head off both in the game and real life because of how intense this game is. You add on to that, brother, the advertising campaign for this movie has been electric. It looks great, dude.
I can't wait to watch this movie.
And to get a Mortal Kombat story from the perspective of Johnny Cage, because we've done Liu Kang 100 times and we've done Shao Kahn 100 times, and we've done to get one from Johnny Cage, who was absolutely the character that we all love to play, but none of us wanted to admit that we love to play him. To get Johnny Cage as the centerpiece of a Mortal Kombat story, chef's kiss, sign me up. Mortal Kombat's my answer.
Very excited for him to be that character, but no, I never thought Johnny Cage was the cool one. He was actually one of my least favorite characters. I was, and it depended on which game, because yes, I too am a Mortal Kombat guy. I don't feel really, I like the stylized thing that they're going for with the Street Fighter thing. I think that's kind of the right idea with that, and I think it might actually work, and I think that's kind of cool. I do think it just also looks weird to me. I just, there's something about it also that I'm just like, this doesn't also feel like a movie to me. It feels like I don't know. I got to get there. I'm just still not there in my head. And I also make this kind of the same argument kind of about Mortal Kombat 2. I didn't even love the first Mortal Kombat. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was fun, but I was like, I do hope they make a sequel so we can get to the Mortal Kombat portion of the story.
The combat in Mortal Kombat is kind of the centerpiece.
I think that would be. I love that we set up everybody's backstory here, and I have no idea who Cole Young is. I'm assuming he's going to become Kenshi, the blind swordsman, in the sequel. That would at least make sense to me.
There's two different angles to this for me. One is when it comes to movies in general, because when we adapt classic franchises to the silver screen, there's two ways to do it. There's either money grab, where we're just like, hey, here's this thing that you like to like, and like we have one famous guy in it, so give us your money. Or there's people who actually want it to be good. There's a passion project locked in there somewhere. And then to take that one step further, when you're going to try to translate not just a video game franchise, but a beloved video game franchise to the big screen, to me, it needs to stay honest and true to what made that video game franchise so beloved. And we've had so many of them that have tried, and within like 30 minutes, it's very evidently just a cash grab to like make me pay you for a dopamine hit of nostalgia, as opposed to here's a really good movie that features the characters from this franchise you love. As much as this one's going to get me roasted, and it can and should, the last Mario movie, I really liked it. I was ready to hate it.
Really?
With Chris Pratt playing the role of Mario. I'll never hate anything Charlie Day does, but that's a different story. Playing Luigi. Jack Black is Bowser. I was like, come on, man. Like, are we doing this? But they made it to where it was a really good movie that just happened to take place in this franchise universe. I didn't play Super Mario Brothers Galaxy, because I was kind of past that type of video game when it really came
never
out.
Played it. I have no idea. I was even kind of past Mario Party. In fact, I have a PS5. Fun fact. You know what's one of the only game on it I actually play still? Mortal Kombat. Anytime a new Mortal Kombat comes out, I play that shit. I love it.
100%. I've got the Xbox X over here. It's got Mortal Kombat. It's also got, if you really go, no, because just to kind of give you the read on the age, it's also got the Aladdin and the Lion King video games that were on like SNES from the early 90s. I've got those on there, and the wife and I play it.
I have that. And I still have Marvel Capcom 2.
Phenomenal.
Like, that's
incredible.
That's
incredible. Still a great game. So there's that. But the OG, like the last Mario Brothers movie with Chris Pratt, was such a good movie wrapped into the Mario Brothers universe that even though I don't know anything about Mario Brothers Galaxy, I'm going to go see it because I think it's just going to be a good movie in an offset of a universe that I know, even though I don't know this offset. I'm willing to give that shot. Mortal Kombat, this iteration of Mortal Kombat genuinely feels like they are trying to make a good movie that centers around Raiden and Johnny Cage and all these characters that I knew and loved growing up, versus Street Fighter, which I'm not saying it is because I don't know anything about it outside the trailer, but Street Fighter is just giving me those, oh, here's a thing nobody's done before. Let's try to cash cow this thing next. And if that's what it turns out to be, it's going to be wildly disappointing.
Yeah, but I am excited for this Mortal Kombat 2 movie. I love Carl Urban, even though I thought he was a weird choice for Johnny Cage. I don't care. I love Carl Urban so much that I look forward to seeing Carl Urban play Johnny Cage. Like that character to me, you know who honestly, I hate to say this, would look like a perfect Johnny Cage because I don't truly love his work to this point. But Glenn Powell would be a pretty good Johnny Cage.
Okay.
He looks the part at least. Like he's no Carl Urban. Carl Urban is like, I'm like, I can't believe Carl Urban's doing this role. It's kind of cool.
First off, we got to talk about the range of Carl Urban because
He does everything.
when you look at the characters this guy's played, it does not make sense how he's been able to play all of them.
Bones
Glenn
McCoy.
And I need to say this, knowing that I look like this is the best that I can do. That genetically, I did not hit the Powerball. All right.
Mm-hmm.
There's something weird about Glenn Powell's face that just prevents me from dialing in. I know. He's not a bad looking guy, but when I see him, there's just something, and it's not like there are male actors in Hollywood that I am perfectly happy to say I get lost because that guy's attractive. I get lost in that guy's eyes. He's a good looking fella. I'm good with that. But there are some I don't get. I don't get Timothy Chalamet. I don't get him at all. Glenn Powell. I don't understand him. Neither one of them pop off at me.
Well, question. I didn't see the trailer yet. How does the new Resident Evil movie look? I mean, because I heard it doesn't look like a Resident Evil movie. And when I say that, not the movies, it just doesn't look like it looks like a zombie movie as opposed to a Resident Evil movie.
So here's where I bump into a problem because I have to admit, I went to a therapist. And because I was not a horror guy growing up, not a horror guy, not a scary movie guy. I despise them. I don't watch horror movies. Scratch that. I watch psychological horror movies. I don't watch like jump scare and turn the volume up 50 decibels to scare you horror movies. I can't stand those. So I went to my therapist to try to delve into what it is. And he explained to me, Decker, it's a very technical term. He said, Rob, the condition you suffer from is known as being a bitch. And he's absolutely right about that. And the problem is, because of that, I never got into the Resident Evil franchise because I don't understand people who enjoy being afraid, like being scared. Fear is an evolutionary leftover from a time where our ancestors were being hunted down by saber-toothed tigers on the savannah. It is not an enjoyable thing. Fear is an experience of you're going to die. Bad things are happening. And Resident Evil, from what I understand, is a video gaming franchise, even back to the OG 64-bit days, was a genuinely terrifying thing. So I, as a diagnosed bitch, have zero desire to go see it. Sorry.
Okay. That's okay. Diagnosed bitch Rob Brown. Question for you.
I'm going to regret saying that. It's funny.
I love diagnosed bitch Rob Brown. Just like we gave Hate House Mario, you might accidentally now turn into diagnosed bitch. I'll change the header. It'll be like Rob Brown's here, diagnosed bitch.
That's fair.
His words,
I have no
not
one to blame
mine.
but me. No one to blame but myself.
Staying on the same topic, what's the superhero movie you're looking most forward to? I'll go first. I'll forgive. It was mainly because Lobo is one of my favorite characters. Like, I'm so excited to see Lobo put on
You called that shot in like 2020, dude.
it wasn't because he also, after he got cast, he wouldn't shut up about Lobo. Yeah. Still, I'm like, it's gonna happen. Yeah. I just, if they cast a different guy as Lobo, he's quitting everything. So I'm like, but here's the thing. Like, the thing I'm most looking forward to, movies and it's actually Lanterns, because right now Daredevil is the very best thing on television. Again, I love Daredevil so much, and I'm hoping that Lanterns like kind of becomes DC's kind of what Daredevil kind of is, and it looks like it might. I'm really excited about all of that. But if we're going only movies, as much as I want to see Brand New Day, and I do, it looks like it's going to be really cool. I think it's going to be a very good story. I think they're going to do some good stuff with it. I'd be lying if I said it's not Doomsday. And I'm also, part of that is morbid curiosity, I might add. Like, I don't know how they're going to make this work. I don't like that they're saying it's a direct sequel to the end game, because that makes me go like, well, then what the fuck have I been watching all the 79 million fucking hours of Disney Plus shit for? It's the multiverse saga, and you're making a multiverse movie. And it doesn't matter that I watched all of your fucking multiverse shit? God damn it. Why did you do this? Why did you do any of this? Fuck! That's my thought, but I am excited.
Same. So, like, Because we had, as an example, to go down the path you were going down, WandaVision, which, if I recall correct, we both really enjoyed WandaVision.
Maybe one of the very best things I think Marvel has done, period. Same with Loki.
So we had WandaVision, which I really loved, and it kind of brought us to a point with Wanda Maximoff. But then we had Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. And I like to point out, also really enjoyed that movie. Like, I thought it was fun. And we had this kind of like this end with Wanda over here. But, and for the rest, I don't think Wanda's dead at all. No, Marvel rules, no body, no death. That's kind of how it plays out.
Yes.
And now I don't know where we're going. Now I will say this. The Russos are back in charge of this movie. I don't think they've had a miss in the MCU so far.
They have not.
The only thing that really I'm intrigued to see is, one, what is the meaning of Loki at the end of Loki, another tremendous TV show on Disney Plus, because they've had a lot of really good ones. What is the meaning of Loki, God of Stories? Where does Wanda wrap up? Where does she come in? How do the street level heroes play into this? Because now we've got Jessica Jones back in Daredevil, back in Daredevil. I have not gotten to see the season finale. No spoilers yet, but we know Luke Cage is involved somehow. There's all these rumors about Iron Fist coming back, which, shut up. I liked it. I know it was bad. I don't care. I enjoyed it. There's the, and of course the concept of Brand New Day is with the spell and everybody forgetting Peter Parker is Spider-Man. He is now friendly neighborhood Spider-Man again. Like, he's back to street level Spider-Man to, I guess, work. I don't know how that fits in, because there's no way we're not doing all of this without Spidey, their biggest cash cow, no matter what Sony says. So I think I've said this for a very long time. The reason I love pro wrestling is I love great stories. And even if I know what the end of the story is going to be, I don't care, as long as the story to get me to what I know the end of the story is going to be is entertaining. I'm all in for it. The thing about this one is, I don't know what the end of the story is, because I don't even know what the hell the beginning of the story of Doomsday is. I don't know how RDJ is. He's Dr. Doom. He's Victor, but he's not a Tony Stark variant. Okay, cool. Does that mean it's the other way around? Does that mean Tony Stark was always a Dr. Doom variant? Like, what? I don't know anything. And Deck, I can say with confidence, it has been a very, very long time. We knew what the end of Endgame was going to look like. We going in, we knew what the end game was. We knew we were going to have Avengers Assemble and the big fight with Thanos and blah, blah, blah. The story to get there was still entertaining. I don't know where Doomsday is starting. I don't know where it's ending. Therefore, I have no idea what's going to happen in the middle. And it is either going to be, I think, the first time we have truly had our minds blown in a theater since Cap, Are You There on Your Left? Or we're going to walk out of there and go, that's it. The MCU is dead. And this movie killed it, because there's nothing for me here anymore. So it is exciting for the fact that I feel like we're taking a gamble of, this is either going to reinvigorate us to 2015, or this is going to be the end of the MCU, and DC, it's on you to figure it out and take the reins now. But also really jacked about Supergirl too, because it looks awesome.
It does look awesome.
Want Supergirl being a drunk, hilarious ass beater for 2 hours with crypto. I mean,
Rob, if you were a pro wrestler, what would your ring name be? And are you going to be tagging with me, or do you even need a tag team partner, honest God? Would you go solo?
So, all right. I don't know about ring name. I've never really thought about it. Ravishing is taken, there's not a lot of R words left out there that are radio friendly. Here's what I'd say. Number one, Cody Decker and I would make an absolutely elite tag team, because the chemistry is there. It's organic. The storytelling is there. And let's be real, you're never going to meet two guys who have the ability to walk into any room and make the room about them for as long as they want it to be. It's just never going to happen. All right.
So, you gotta have muscle.
Yeah. And the best part is, like, the cliches are there because we got the muscle. And I got no problem working a microphone in pro wrestling. I did it for like 3 years as a manager at a little promotion down in Florida. It was my favorite thing in the world. Of
course you did. I've been waiting to find out if you were ever the mouth of the South Jimmy Harding this shit.
10,000% was.
Yep.
I was a manager / ring announcer, and I did. You'll appreciate this, Deck. I think I've told you this before. I am 1-0 as a professional wrestler. It is true in a tag team match where my tag team partners were the Hall of Famer Bullet Bob Armstrong.
Okay.
And Degeneration X's own the New Age Outlaws. I once tag team in a match with the Road Dogg Jesse James and the Badass Billy Guns and got the 1-2-3 count and immediately retired. I am local wrestling's Bill Goldberg. The answer is
I'm 0-1.
Deck and I would be the outsiders of the outsiders. We actually dressed one show as the outsiders, and I got to tell you, absolutely fucking nailed it, if I may say so myself.
That did happen.
But Deck and I would be a tag team, and I'm going to tell you right now, the charisma we would bring into a ring would put the Usos to shame. Yeet.
Ooh, I'd be out there with the microphone just, straight up Batman animating seriesing this bad boy, because I just be sitting there with like the Riddler type quote. It's like, that's right. Is there a brain under this non-pointy cowl with enough brawn to match? I dig it, my guy. Well, here's the deal. What do you got?
No, I was just going to say, for those of you who are new to the Rob Brown experience, like Decker and I have been broadcasting 5 years. I've done local shows for 17. And I mean this. If you listen enough, you will hear Rob Brown cut wrestling promos on the radio. It is a style I have modeled my radio career after.
You open the show with it.
When we get to Shiggles later, I have a wrestling promo cut for what that's going to be.
I just hope it's not about wrestling. Anyways, last quick hitter before we talk about the NBA real quick, because some shit happened in the NBA last night. I'm trying to decide which one of these quick hitters I want to hit you with. I think I'm going to go.
Do them both. Put them on a shot clock.
Okay. We're going to do this one on a shot clock. Johnny Knoxville's son is apparently a very good young ball player, and Johnny Knoxville was talking about that he was a hell of a ball player, and he was in between going to Hollywood and going for his break or trying to play college baseball. He thought he could have gone pro. Have you been surprised by other actors that had previous experiences as athletes? And were you shocked to find out who those names actually entailed?
No, and since we're on a shot clock, I'm changing the conversation. Jackass, the best one and the last one. I've seen the promos. I'm not going to lie. This is weird. The Jackass trailer for the last movie deck made me messed up. I'm not going to lie. Between the cutback to the old skits and the new stuff with Knoxville and Pontius and like the clips of Ryan Dunn, RIP, one of the legends. Chris Pontius is a personal hero of mine because I'm always the weird guy in every group I'm in. Great question. Don't care. Cannot wait. You asked what superhero movie I'm most excited about. The answer is Jackass, the last one and the best one. That's my answer.
All right, next question. Captain America just started a movie that was completely funded by Saudi Arabia, and it's going down in history now as the biggest bomb possibly of all time. Did you even know Anthony Mackie was starring in a movie called Desert Warrior? Because I had not heard about this even once.
I did not, and it sucks. Number one, we got to stop with the Saudi stuff. First off, the biggest bomb is Live Golf. Rip. Bye-bye. Don't care. See you later. And I hope everyone, you some bitches that jumped over, including you, Bryson, you were supposed to be my science nerd athlete guy that I love forever. I hope every one of you has to like corn ferry your way all the way back to the tour because you pissed me off. All right. Now, I love Anthony Mackie. I'm glad that he's Captain America. I was glad to watch some of the people, and you know what people I'm talking about, get mad at Black Captain America. I loved every second of it. And also, he is from New Orleans, Louisiana, as is your boy. I finally had some representation, and I loved it. But to find out that he had done that, and granted, I'm going to give benefit of the doubt because maybe he didn't really know everything that was going on. Maybe he didn't know where I don't know any of that. I'm glad it bombed. And I'm glad it bombed at the same time that Live Golf is bombing because I'm genuinely hoping that while we're looking at major soccer players going to play in Saudi football, we're looking at potentially, I know this is just the one I care about. I don't care. It is what it is. WrestleMania being in Saudi Arabia in the next few years, et cetera, et cetera. There is a point where the money is not worth it from that country. I don't care if it's unlimited. Like, this country has an issue of believing that there is never enough money on the table, even if you've got to act immoral and unethically to get it. And that has got to stop. It is the cause of so many of the problems we are having in this country. I love Anthony Mackie. I love him as Cap. I loved what's the HBO Max series he did, the old video game?
Twisted Metal.
Twisted Metal. I loved with Samoa Joe. I've loved all of it. I'm glad this one hit the shit. I really am, because we've got to stop with that.
Couldn't agree more, my guy. All right, let's get into some NBA playoffs. The Knicks move forward, and not only do they move forward, holy shit, they wax that ass. Like, I was kind of pissed because I was out at a restaurant and I was watching the game, and it was really kind of pissing me off because they were up by 50. And I'm like, dude, can we switch over to the other game? Because, dude, Philly is actually beating Boston again, and I can't believe it. Can't switch over because, of course, it's on Peacock. There should never be a playoff game that is not viewable at a bar. Period. Stop for every fucking sport. Every sport. NBA, fucking knock it off. Major League Baseball, don't you fucking dare. NFL, knock it off. Everyone fucking knock it off.
I gotta tell you, yes to all of that. Just so we're very clear. I'm a dive bar. You and I both. We're dive bar aficionados.
Mm-hmm.
I like a dank, dark bar. I like when I want 20 TVs, but I don't care if half of them are as old as I am, right? Like, there's one hanging on chains up in the corner that's the size of my car, but the screen's that big. I love a good dive bar that goes dollar PBRs when there's playoff hockey or playoff basketball on. I'll be there. But if you don't have the TVs, especially now with the NHL and NBA playoffs all going on at the same time, to where I can sit there and just be immersed in sports, I'm not coming back to your bar. That being said, the win wasn't the best part of last night. Not even close. The best part of that night was the fact that I tuned in with 6 minutes left to play in the first half, and the Knicks were up like 47 at the point. Atlanta misses a bucket. The Knicks get the board, and I have to listen to who I have to imagine, Decker, was the most miserable son of a bitch in the United States last night. The Hawks PA announcer down 47, 6 to play in the second half going, defense. Brother, just stop. Just let it die. Just let it die. All right. You're not coming back from this. That was my favorite part. The second favorite part was in the third quarter when, and I'm trying to remember who it was, but one of the Hawks hit a three, and it was the old Chris Paul meme. I think it was Kuzma or somebody hits a three to cut the lead to 50. He hits a three. The place pops to cut the lead to 50. Then the Knicks go back on the other end and get it back and hit a three the other way. I have never been so sure in my life that an NBA team was piping in music, or excuse me, piping in crowd noise.
Goldberg.
When a three gets hit, exactly. When a three gets hit to cut the lead to 50 and the place on TV sounds like the roof was coming off. And I'm like, guys, there's 40 people in that building. That, like, I have never been so convinced the team was piping in crowd noise as I was last night. What a shit show, dude.
Mm-hmm. Boy, what a shit show is absolutely right. Follow-up thing. Nuggets. What a disappointment. I'm disappointed for a couple of reasons. If Ant it comes back, great, but like how good is he going to be in any particular way against the Spurs after a hyperextended knee? Obviously, the other injury, the busted Achilles. Spurs should dog walk the Timberwolves, right?
Yeah. I mean, listen, the T-Wolves, in order to win this series, have got to find a way to keep Wembanyama to less than like 3 or 4 blocks a game. And the way that they want to play basketball, I don't know that they're going to be able to do that. I just don't. I mean, you're at a point now where this kid has the one thing I had questions about coming into this year for Wembanyama, I guess 2, was health and was confidence to be the guy. And I think he's done well. I think the alien's done well. But like this year felt like, okay, this is the year where San Antonio really turns the corner. They come into a playoff team. I'm not saying they're championship ready, but this is the year that Wembanyama proves that, like, I can be the centerpiece, the crown jewel, and you build a good team around me, we're going to be fine. And a word about that. And this kid has done nothing but look more confident throughout this entire run. Like, end of the season, even after the injury and the thrombosis and all that, came back, has looked more and more confident. I don't know how the T-Wolves can play their game and not have Victor Wembanyama cause them an immense amount of problems, because it's not just Deck that he can block the 3 and 4 and 5 foot bunnies. The guy can come out to the free throw line and play defense. He can go out to the elbow. He can create a shell.
Yeah, he does everything.
10 feet around the basket, and I don't know how the Wolves get around that.
Me neither. And also with the injuries, I really don't know how they get around that. Period. Stop. So that's that. But let's really quickly talk about it. Dude, the Celtics, I think, are in actual trouble here. And I'm not trying to put anybody on the spot, especially you, Scott and PA, because, yeah, you just did it. You guys forced a Game 7. Embiid is back. Bro, could this happen? Could this be like, heat culture kind of popped out of nowhere when the playoffs hit a couple years ago? Could the Sixers kind of do a heat culture kind of thing? And what I am now clearly seeing is a fucking wide open East.
This was, I don't think, coming into this year, kind of what we expected out of the East, right? Like it kind of felt like it was, I thought it was just going to kind of be Boston. Obviously, they've been dealing with the injuries and they've been trying to figure it out. But all of a sudden, I got Paul George coming out of nowhere, playoff P's back, dropping 23. I got Tyrese Maxey dumping 30 in this game in an elimination game. Like, it is a little bit shocking. And, oh, by the way, VJ Edgecombe, who as a rookie didn't have a good night from behind the arc, really not from the floor. He's 5 of 11 from the floor, but he walked out of there with 8 boards. Only Embiid had more for that team last night. Then I got Andre Drummond coming off the bench, acting like it's 2018 all over again. Like, here's the thing, and this is a genuine concern. My question is, with the Celtics shooting less than 30% last night, 42% from the floor, was that the Sixers blowing the wad too early? Was that the Sixers going all gas, no breaks in Game 6 to make sure there was a Game 7? Was that team blowing the wad too early? And do they have the gas in the tank to go and the experience of this much pressure in this spot to be able to go up against a Boston team that has been in this spot multiple times the last couple of years? Everything you're right. Everything you said is absolutely right. And a reason to be concerned if you're Boston, give me the Celtics in Game 7, because I do think, and I hate to use this as a catalyst or a cause for too many things, but this to me feels like a experience plus confidence. I got Jaylen Brown, who was calling himself MVP before the year started. I think he was right, but that's the level of confidence team has. They've been here, they've done this, they felt this pressure. Philly really hasn't. Give me the Boston Celtics in Game 7.
Yeah, bro. I actually totally agree with you. We've seen the Celtics do this. We've seen them kind of let off the gas a little bit, then just put it all back on in a Game 7. I would actually be, how about this? I'd be really interested if we see otherwise. I would love to see Philly actually move on. It would destroy every possible narrative that's existed for the last couple of years. I would love to see this happen. I really, really, really would. Don't think it's gonna, but I would love to see it happen. And by the way, I'd be interested to see what it's going to happen to the ratings. And I know ratings are not king, but the ratings right now are up. They're averaging like 3.7 million viewers. This is a very high-rated first round of the playoffs, which is pretty cool considering I went into half these playoffs thinking, oh, there's only one series I even give a shit about, and that was Denver versus Timberwolves. But that actually ended up becoming a series I cared very little about. And look what the Celtics and 76ers are giving us. The Knicks are all of a sudden going beast mode. The Lakers are putting me in a fucking panic because, of course, they are. But it won't even matter because even if they get knocked out by it, blow 2 more games, which will be a historic way of getting knocked out, it won't matter even one bit because OKC is just waiting for them at the other end. And that's just the way it goes, dude. So I'm loving these playoffs so far. What do you say we just go ahead and shiggle? My guy, it's very simple. My shiggle is this. Have you heard? Remember the kick from Giants kicker Koo last year that wasn't when he kicked the ground and missed everything? Well, it was very funny. It made us all laugh, made me laugh, made you laugh. Everyone laughed. No one, however, laughed quite as hard as one man in the state of Kentucky. This man found this to be so hysterically funny that he was laughing uncontrollably, laughing so uncontrollably that he had a seizure. That seizure got him to the hospital. That seizure to the hospital revealed he had a brain tumor that needed to be removed. He goes out and gets the brain tumor successfully removed. He is now nice and healthy with no issues at the moment, and it looks like he's going to continue living a long and healthy life. In fact, so much so that he's going to the Kentucky Derby this upcoming weeks. So my point is, Koo is a life-saving fucking hero. You all laughed at this man? This man saved a life. And I'm talking like the Fray, how to save a life type style, baby. Koo, thank you. You're my shiggle, and you are just, you're a god among ants, my guy. You're a god among ants.
Young Hoku is a weird story because, you know, he made his money kicking for the Atlanta Falcons, and he hit a bunch of knife to the heart kicks against my New Orleans Saints for years. Love this story. Only problem for Young Hoku is that you don't get 5-year, $24.25 million contracts for kicking the dirt and saving a life like you do if you didn't do that and made field goals as an NFL kicker. Like, I'm sure he feels good about that, primarily because that's the only positive thing he has to think about after that, because the man has become an internet. He did so many incredible things when he kicked in Atlanta. He was the bane of my existence as a Saints fan for like 3 or 4 years. And all we're going to remember for him for is kicking the earth harder than he kicked the football. And that's rough. That's rough. I feel bad for the guy.
Because he's been a solid kicker for years. But dude, who's he with still? Is he still with the Giants? It says right here.
I think they released him after that, if I recall correctly.
No, it says right here, at least current team Giants. So I guess he's still on the Giants for now. At least that's what I'm reading. But
no, they released him back in December of last year. He had a like a 5-game stint where he went 4 of 6 of kicks like inside of 30. In that game that he kicked the ground, he actually had another less hilarious, memorable botch early in that game, and then booked after that one.
Yeah, you're right. He is currently looks like a free agent, but I hope he gets somewhere. Just imagine he kicks a field goal that gets somebody to the playoffs, and we can get something like remake the narrative. My guy, he's a kicker, and he's not old. He was born in '94, so he could do this for another 20 years.
For those of you who don't believe that the yips are a real thing,
they're a real thing.
A real thing.
They're a real thing, bro.
They are the worst thing that could happen to an athlete, man. Like, as a kicker, I'm a Saints guy. Tom Dempsey was born with half a foot, and for like 40 years had the field goal length record in the NFL. I think a kicker would rather be born with half a foot and be a kicker than catch the yips and become Young Ho Kim.
Brutal. Absolutely brutal. What are you shiggling about, my guy?
You'll remember, Cody Decker, that nary but, 6 weeks ago or so, when I started having the good fortune to join you here on this here program on Friday afternoons, I went on a rant because your boy has finished successfully the 999 challenge 3 times. Now, I'm assuming everyone's aware of what that is, but if not, quick filler, it's very simple. A hot dog and a beer for each of the 9 innings of a baseball game. All right, 1 dog, 1 beer, 1 inning. He got 6 outs to put him away. I've done it 3 times, and I got to tell you, all 3 times I felt like death warmed over the next day, but there was a sense of pride. Like, I genuinely think, here you go, Donald Trump. I'd like you spending less time doing terrible things. I'm going to give you a free executive order that you can cut right now that will unify the country. 999 challenge, if you successfully complete it, you get like a medal, all right, that you can proudly wear on your chest for the rest of your life. Because it's
like man versus food.
100%. I have also seen people attempt and miserably fail the 999 challenge. In fact, not but 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was watching a Greenville Drive game downtown. We're an affiliate of the Boston Red Sox, and I watched 2 kids doing the 999 challenge. I wasn't doing that tonight. Just 2 kids, 3, 4, 5 rows up ahead of me. And I noticed by inning 3, they were alternating innings, going to get a cold beer and a couple of hot dogs. And one of them was asked to leave the stadium because they donated the dogs and the beers that they had consumed back to the stadium in the worst and grossest possible way. Well, the San Francisco Giants were one of a number of Major League Baseball teams that rolled out their own 999 challenge this year, and I came on this show and raised holy hell about it because it was bullshit. If you look it up, they were giving you, for the low total of $54.99 plus tax and tip, 9 half a hot dogs and 1 Coors Light tall boy that you filled 9 beer flight glasses with. Which, by the way, 1 tall boy, doesn't fill 9 beer flight size glasses with. It fills them about a half of the way up. And I referred to it on this show as further enshittification of things that we love in this country. The people at the top wearing suits will take anything and everything that we love, and they will ruin it for more money. That's the one thing that is consistent. Death, taxes, and people milking every cent out of things we love and ruining them in the process. I cite to you most of the most recent Star Wars stuff, all right? It's just what people in corporate offices do. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to know that we, the people, when we stand strong, we stand firm, and we stand together, we still have the power to change the world for the good, because the San Francisco Gate and Chronicle announced not but a few days ago that the Giants quietly took their 999 challenge, which I affectionately referred to as the 319 challenge, 3 dogs, 1 beer, 9 innings. They took it off the menu. They didn't announce it, didn't say anything about it. Why? Because they're cowardly bitches who won't admit that they were wrong. That's why. All right? They took it off the menu. It's no longer available. It's a joke. It was a joke then. It's a joke now. If you want to do it, listen, if you can't do it, don't do it. I acknowledge it's a challenge. All right? That only the absolute baseball lovingness, the munches, should even attempt. I've done it 3 times. I'm very proud of that fact. If you're not going to do it, don't do it. Go to the game, get yourself 2-3 hot dogs, get yourself 3-4 cold Coors Lights, enjoy the baseball game. Because I'll tell you, there's not much better on planet Earth than a good baseball stadium hot dog accompanied halfway through the game by an ice cold, watered down Coors Light. And I love a Coors Light. I'm saying this with respect. I love it. But if you're going to do it, do it. And people at the top, stop ruining the shit we love for money. I'm begging you, just let us love things and not feel like you're trying to milk us out. To America, I hope that this is an illustration to all of you that if we come together hand in hand, arm in arm, and raise our voices loud in the face of hate and persecution and blasphemy, that we can still accomplish great things as countrymen. We can still accomplish great things as fans and lovers of the good things of life. Giants, the decision to hire Tony Vitello wasn't the bad decision. The decision to try to pass this horse crap off as a legitimate thing that we love for $55 of hard-earned American money, that was the worst decision you ever made. You should be embarrassed. You should have to wear it, you sons of bitches. You ruined something we love for money, and I'm glad it bit you in the ass. America, it's been hard to be proud of my fellow Americans for a long time now, but I'm red, white, and blue right now. Way to go, America. We did it. We killed something evil, and we should all take a moment to celebrate it.
I'm so glad that Rob Brown has finally found the courage to take a stand on something really affecting this nation. The false 999 challenge. Phenomenal stuff, Rob. What do you say we go ahead and we reflect? Mr. Robert Brown, what are you reflecting on today?
So we talked about the Knicks and the Hawks game a little bit earlier in the show. And I brought up that the best part of that game to me was with 6:38 left to play in the game. Atlanta turned the ball over, and the poor PA announcer has to do the defense chant while his team is down like 47 points in the first half.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's what I do want to say. As somebody who has worked with, for, and around sports, in sports for coming up on 20 years now, this would be my 18th year working between sports broadcasting or in or around professional sports. And it's the first time I'm actually doing a serious reflection here. If you ever meet somebody who works for a team in a game ops position, the people who put on the show that you watch, because we love sports, we love some baseball, but the people who present the sport to you, who actually make it as engaging. The sport is beautiful, but it's the atmosphere around college football. It's the atmosphere around the NFL. It's the atmosphere around the NBA, the MLB, whatever, that makes it so great. if you ever get an opportunity to talk to somebody who works in that area, sincerely tell those people thank you, because that's what makes those games as electrifying as they are. And these are people, because I promise you, that guy on the mic last night doing the defense chant was hating every second of it, because that guy that got to that stadium at 10 o'clock that morning, and he spent his day writing scripts and organizing and listing and talking to his producer and his director and his this guy and his that guy to make sure everything was ready to go, only for his team to go get blown out by 50 points.
Mhm.
The people who put on these shows do a lot of hard work, and it is always unrecognized. I cite my one example as the reason I bring this up. The Atlanta Braves this week said farewell to the man who played the original blooper, who has gone from a mascot introduced 10 years ago or whatever it was by the Braves as like, oh, that's a cheap Philly fanatic knockoff, to a mascot that now Atlanta Braves fans will go to war for. The dude has on social media, he's hilarious. He's gotten in feuds with celebrities and he posts funny stuff all the time. At games, I'm going to tell you, it's very rare you're going to stumble across a mascot who's been more electric. The guy who made him that is retiring and stepping away. Now, mascots are weird because he doesn't want you to know who he is. Most mascots do not want you to know who it is under the suit. And I respect that. So we won't say the name. But I'll say this. Him and the directors and the producers and the staff who work those stadiums and put on that show do a hell of a lot of hard work that is never noticed. If you ever meet one of them or get a chance to, or even if you're just at a stadium and bump into somebody wearing a name tag, sincerely tell them thank you and that it's appreciated, because it's long hours. They don't get holidays. The pay usually sucks, and they do a hell of a job to make sure that whether it's minor league baseball up to the show is worth paying the price of admission for. Those people deserve our respect and admiration of sports fans every bit as much as the athletes who play the game.
I agree wholeheartedly. It's a tough job to do, and the ones that are successful doing it are astonishing at it. My reflection is simply this. This has been a fun week. Next week is going to be a little bit different. The reason why, schedule will be a little bit different, and we will keep you abreast of what's going on next week for the show. I'm pretty sure you'll have me and Michelle on Monday, but the rest of the week of the shows are kind of, the schedule will kind of fluctuate. We'll let you know exactly when the shows are. And what can I say, Rob Brown? You are a scholar and a gentleman, and as always, and you know this.
My rotten soldier. He's my sweet cheese, my good time boy. He's my best friend. He's my pal. He's my homeboy.
What can I say, Rob Brown? Having you on a Friday makes this weekend absolutely fantastically. Everybody, enjoy you a wonderful weekend. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to this show, of course, on YouTube, and of course, over there on all of the other platforms, including Instagram, because yes, we'll be posting some videos. Scott and PA, you got jury duty next week. I have something fairly similar, in fact. So I'm looking forward. That's why the schedule will be changing next week. We'll be letting you guys know about all of that. Like, share, and subscribe. Watch out for some great stuff. Rob Brown, you got anything for the people?
Sure do. Number one, I'm inviting myself back next Friday, and if Cody's not here, I'll just do the show myself. I don't care. Number two, thank you all for being here and tolerating me. Follow me on social media at The Rob Brown Show. Number three, Cody Decker, you, sir, an amazing human being and a handsome son of a bitch. Thanks for having me, pal.
That is so good of you to say. My goodness, you're handsome too. You got amazing, amazing hair. Guys, enjoy yourself some sports this weekend. Lots of cool things are coming up. R.I.P. Estelle Getty.